Right, so it's Sunday morning. I've got my coffee in one of Ashley's mugs. I should have picked a better one for the video. Waiting for FedEx to come. I think when you hit over 500 bucks in a package, FedEx makes you get signature insurance or signature for the insurance. I don't really know, but that's what I'm waiting for. And I figured I might as well do a video about what I've learned on eBay. Because these are all for eBay, and we hit 5,000 sales a few weeks ago, and now it's like between 50 and 100 sales a day. Like I'm gonna have to ship out like 200 things on Monday, which is a good problem to have, but just like kind of overwhelming. And I've learned a lot through this process. A lot of those things I've sold over the past 2 years have been like practice, basically. So small items, maybe I make $5 on it, and that's not really worth your time once you have a process that you can scale up established. But when you don't, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do like one-off weird eclectic eBay sales. It was practice. I also want to clear up in the video yesterday, I may have misspoke when I was talking about video game sales and costs. Someone commented in the video like, how do you ship video games for $1.50? And I don't remember what I said. I'm not going to go back and watch it because I can just talk about it now. So for a $15 video game sale, you're going to pay about $1.60, $1.70 in eBay fees, and you're going to pay, if you promote it, about $1, maybe less than that in promotional fees, depending on the rate. And so if you're at about $13.50 in payout, you're going to pay about $4 to ship the video game. So that's what I think I just glossed over, like breaking down how you get to that $12.50 amount before you ship the video game out. And it's going to be depending on where the buyer is, because what's kind of dumb is eBay charges the fee they charge you based off of the total amount including sales tax. And so some states have a really high sales tax, and they're going to pay you're going to pay more in fees when you sell an item to those people. I know it doesn't make sense, but I think it's the way that they have to do it just to keep the ship sailing smoothly, as opposed to having a different way to charge, or to do like math basically on the front end of the processing fee, because I feel like over the past 2 years, eBay and Amazon have made a lot of accommodations to the government, basically, to make selling on our end a lot smoother and more expensive, but just run smoother, because you don't want to have to deal with filing state tax stuff in every single state you sell in. Just a nightmare. Anyways, so other things that I've learned besides that that I think you should know about and I can share with you is basically there's a few things. First of all, everyone gets caught up in the idea of like the eBay algorithm, and this isn't only eBay, it extends to like every social media platform. The Twitter algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. I think a lot of people want to focus on these algorithms because they want like a path to success. I can follow these steps and I will be successful, and it's easy, and it's foolproof, and that's just not the way the world is, unfortunately. There's idiots and there's fools out there who are doing random things. Someone might watch a 25-minute mukbang video about grilled cheese and prawns and then watch my video because they're bored. The eBay algorithm is not promoting that kind of chaos. I feel like the same goes for eBay. You can think about, at the end of the day, am I listing at the right time, or do I have to list 5 items a day or 10 items a day or 20 items a day, or do I have to have a white background, or do I have to have free returns or whatever? And those are all things that can help you. Like, yes, in YouTube, for example, following trends, using certain types of thumbnails, those are going to be helpful, and that is going to feed into the algorithm, per se. But also having really good content is gonna feed the algorithm, as at least the way that we're trying to get it to be. The end result we're trying to reach. The end result we're trying to reach on eBay is a sale. So rather than trying to tinker with your sales and match the algorithm, I think what you want to focus on is getting good deals in front of buyers, and eBay has a way to do that. It's no algorithm involved. It's just called promoting your listing. And I've gone through and I've looked. When I make sure that I'm like at or above the suggested rate, my listing always shows up in the top 5. You know, it's the above the fold, as you would say in like, you know, web speak. And I don't know if this directly correlates or not. I wish I could figure this out. And if you know, please tell me. When you're above the fold and you have those sponsored listing posts, you're much more likely to get Google Shopping sales. And this is something that I have to go into more and learn about more of, because it's frankly, it's kind of new to me. I've known about it for a long time, but I've never like dug into it. But I saw a few weeks ago, I was looking at my eBay analytics for the sales and everything, and like out of my sponsored sales, like 25% were coming off site, which I believe is Google Shop, or direct sales maybe, but I don't have any direct marketing, so I don't know what it could be. But that is like a huge, focusing on that, on getting your items at a relatively fair price. Because you think about it too, I'll hit that later. Getting your items at a fair price in front of buyers is so much more important than like trying to tweak the algorithm in some mundane way to like make your items show up on random searches. People know what they want. They want a We Play video game. They want a certain edition of a comic book. They want a large Yamaha snowmobile jacket. They know what they want specifically. So if you put those words in your title, that's essentially all the algorithm pleasing I think you have to do. You know, if you offer terms, you know, 1-day, 2-day handling, you offer buyer pays returns, things like that, that don't necessarily appease this mythical algorithm. I mean, it exists, but just like we build it up to be so much more than it is sometimes. When really, if you focus on just having a price that makes sense, having terms that make sense, and having a title that makes sense for the item you're selling, that's going to be all the algorithm massaging you need. One more thing I want to talk about that I just mentioned a few minutes ago was the relatively fair price. So on Amazon for a long time, my methodology was be the lowest prime price, because that's going to guarantee the buy box, and there was no nuance to it. And I think that worked. I mean, it worked in the sense that I made money doing it and it was profitable and I was able to scale the business up and all these good things. But I think that was kind of Amazon's mentality, was like, okay, we're going to be a place to get really good deals. And over the past 2 years, we've seen strong delineation in tiers you can charge for category or for conditions of certain collectible items or items with collectible value. So like I'll use video games and sports cards and books as an example, because that's what I sell. And the sun just came out in Michigan, which is beautiful to have. So for sports cards and books and video games, the difference between a worn copy with a torn manual, with bum edges, with a crease in the front of the book, and a video game or a book or a sports card that is in mint condition, meaning you can barely tell it's been used out of the pack, or maybe the technical definition has never been used. I don't know. That's another thing too. It's just like the old guard vocabulary of like mint, very good, fine, plus. I feel like that's going away and being replaced by more e-commerce centric terms like acceptable, good, very good, just because those are universal across all the major platforms. But I digress. So the difference between something that's acceptable condition and very good condition, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, in books, for example, would have been very, very small. Very, very small. On a $15 book, maybe $1.50, 10%, sway. Where now I'm seeing video games in very good condition for $25 when there's a lower prime listing for $15, or there's FBM listings for $9. And that's not the same on eBay, because eBay doesn't have a buy box, but what they do have are buyers. And especially for gifts, buyers are just less prone to care about if a lower condition item is cheaper, as long as they're reasonable as long as it's within spitting distance. So a great example, I've sold 25 copies of Wii Sports, or not Wii Sports, of Wii Play. Because Wii Play is a popular game. It's one of, I don't know what the ranking is on it, but it's a very popular game. And if you're giving a Wii as a gift, or you have a Wii and you're having your family come over, it's a party game everyone can play. And so I understand why that's the case. Same with Mario Kart. Same with a lot of books. Harry Potter books, for example. I've been selling a few Harry Potter books, and the ones in better condition are selling at a higher premium because they're gift copies. And will this trend extend into January? I don't know. I'm excited to find out. I think that it will extend in the sense that it'll continue to be real, but just the magnitude of sales that occur on the premium end as opposed to the acceptable end, that's going to be diminished, where it's going to be ostensibly, I don't know what the number is. Let's say half. It's twice as popular now. I mean, generally, what I tell people is if you run an e-commerce business, you're going to make as much money in Q4 as you do as in Q1, 2, and 3 if you do like consumer sales. So I'd believe that you have twice as many premium sales in Q4 as Q1. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on this. Keep watching these videos. That's my thoughts on this today. My coffee's almost gone. It's getting kind of cold out. So thank you for watching. If you're new, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. If you're not new, let me know what your thoughts on this are, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.